There are two bugs in the Canon R6 Mark II that have bitten me more than once, and Canon just fixed both of them in firmware 1.7.0. Here's what's new and how to install it. We'll cover what actually changed, how to check if you need this update, and walk through the full install on both Mac and Windows. So let's get started. The big one for me, and this has been annoying for a while, is that Canon fixed the issue where the camera sometimes would not be recognized when you plugged it into a smartphone via USB. If you ever tried to use your Canon R6 Mark II as a webcam or transfer photos to your phone and it just didn't connect, well, that should be resolved now. They also fixed a couple of error codes. Error 41, that's the one where the images wouldn't transfer to an FTP server, and error 49, which would pop up repeatedly when the camera was talking to an SFTP server. It's not the kind of thing you want showing up during the middle of a commercial shoot. They also added Wi-Fi frequency band selection. We'll talk more about that after the install. And they also added support for the Camera Control API for third-party integrations. Plus, the usual operational stability improvements, which basically means we fixed a bunch of stuff and we're not going to list it. So, the first thing, check what firmware you're actually on. You'll want to go into your menu, scroll over to the wrench icon, that's tab 5, and select firmware. If it already says 1.7.0, you're done. Go ahead and close this video. If it says anything lower, 1.6.0, 1.5.0, or whatever, we'll go ahead and keep watching. Head to Canon's support site. I'll link it directly below and search for EOS R6 Mark II firmware. Make sure that you grab the right file. Canon lists both Windows and Mac versions. The download is a zip file with the firmware inside. Quick note, the firmware file will have a .fir extension. Don't rename it, don't try to open it, the camera knows what to do with it. Now, there's a wireless update option through the Canon Camera Connect app, but I don't recommend it. The SD card method is more reliable, and the last thing you want is a firmware update failing halfway through. You want to take the SD card out of your camera and pop it into your computer. Actually, format it in camera first before you do that, just to make sure it's clean. Then pull it out and copy that FIR file to the root of the card, not in a folder, just right there at the top level. That is an important step. One more thing before we install. Your battery needs to be at least halfway charged and ideally fully charged. The camera will refuse to start the update if that battery is too low, and that's bitten me a couple times when I thought I had enough charge and I didn't. Okay, Mac first, then Windows. On Mac, when you download the file, it'll be a DMG file. Just double-click the DMG file. Then you'll see a mounted DMG on the location file, and then you'll see the .fir file. Copy that FIR file to the root of your SD card in Finder. You should see it sitting right there at the top level, not inside any folder. Put the SD card with your .fir file back into your camera. Go to the same firmware screen that we checked earlier, the wrench icon, tab 5. You'll come to the firmware update screen. And it'll say update camera firmware as needed. In this case, we're working with the camera, and you can see the camera version is set to 1.6.0. So we'll go ahead and select camera. The next screen will say update camera firmware. It'll remind you that your current firmware version is 1.6.0 or whatever current version you're on. And you have the option to hit cancel or hit OK. We'll go ahead and select OK. You'll see a progress bar and the card access light will blink. Do not turn off the camera, do not open the battery door, do not remove the card during this point, do not pass go, do not collect $200. This will take about 2 to 4 minutes. Now that it's complete, we go back, check our firmware, see that it's on 1.7.0. And that's it on the Mac. For Windows, the only difference is how you extract the zip file. Much like on the Mac, we just select the firmware, we download the firmware, copy that firmware over to a folder on our computer, extract that zip file, and there you'll see the .fir file. And that .fir file is exactly the same as on the Mac. So all we would need to do at this point is just copy that file to the root of the SD card, insert the SD card back into the Canon camera, go to the firmware menu, and just follow the exact same process we just followed for the Mac. Once the update is done, there's one new setting worth paying attention to. Go to the communication settings, and you'll now see Wi-Fi frequency band. By default, it's probably set to 2.4 gigahertz. If you're in an area with a clean 5 gigahertz signal, like your home studio or just your studio, switch it over. You'll get faster image transfers and a more stable connection for remote shooting. The drawback is that 5 gigahertz doesn't travel as far through walls. So if you're shooting in the field and your phone is further from the camera, 2.4 gigahertz might actually work better in that case. It's good to know you can switch now depending on your situation. Take a test shot. Connect to your phone if you use that workflow. Make sure your custom settings, your C1, C2, C3 modes are all still intact. Firmware updates usually preserve them, but it's worth a quick check. If anything seems off, don't panic. Try powering the camera off and on first. Maybe even remove the battery, reseat the battery and turn it on. Sometimes a full setting reset helps if something looks wrong, but power cycle your camera first. If you're using the R6 Mark II for recording tutorials or streaming, well, I've got a video on OBS mic settings that pairs well with this, linked in the description. Get your audio dialed in to match the video quality you're getting out of this camera. I've also got a video on just how to set up your Canon R6 Mark II if you're a beginner, so make sure you check that out. Regardless, that's kind of the challenges with firmware updates. They fix things you've probably been dealing with for months, but the process doesn't get used often and it feels a bit clunky every time. I hope this was useful. I try to put out content weekly with tutorials and user guides that will help people in the content creation business. I will see you in the next video.